Okay, it is done! And we are here with a match EHOME versus TongFu International Qualifiers 2012. And I am a co-caster, and I have a co-caster. TriumphOfMan, hello. And I'm Sheever for the people that are watching from. This is awkward.
It's alright, we can learn to cast together. But guys, TongFu versus EHOME. This is an interesting matchup because EHOME, when they first arrived in the Chinese, were considered to be the strongest Chinese team in Dota 2. TongFu, on the other hand, I really underrated them. It's mostly because their first debuts, the first debut they made was with a partial team, with their manager playing with a whole bunch of stand-ins and people dropping out of their team left front. So it was a really big debacle. So they came up with some really weak performances, lost to some really no-name teams, and I thought they were terrible. But once they got their full lineup together, TongFu actually turned out to be a huge powerhouse team. And to be honest, had they entered the Dota 2 world with their proper lineup they have now, I honestly feel they would have been straight out invited to the International 2s, Sheever.
Yeah, I just had to sort out an echo because I was also hearing myself and you in game via the chat there. So I just had to fix that, but that's fixed. So I kind of was zoned out for that slightly. My bad, but it should have been fixed.
That's fine, no problem. And to one of my viewers, Kiryuaki, our streams will be alternating on the live matches page, so we're going to keep both of them up at the moment. But talking about the ban so far, Naga Siren has been banned by TongFu. They have also banned the Darkseer. Very few teams will actually willingly let Naga Siren through, and if you let her through, you either want to be grabbing her up as your first pick, or you want to be making sure you're nailing those big AoE cluster heroes that will basically act as a force multiplier with her ultimate. So heroes like Darkseer, like Enigma, if you're going to let the Naga Siren through, you want to make sure you ban them. But in this case, TongFu, along with almost, I think, every other team in the International has been banning Naga Siren like crazy, because she is a jerk of a hero, I'll be honest, Shiva. I hate that hero.
She makes for quite big plays, and I mean, it gives a moment of peace, like you have a massive team fight and stuff's happening, and then song. And
it's just, so you're getting ramped up for a team fight, and then suddenly, no team fight, it's over, everybody teleports out. Sorry, boring. Boring.
No, she can set up some good team fights too. I mean, if she has a good combination. By the way, I just got asked to say something, well, you too, but I don't think you read that. As people can see, EHOME has only 40-second bonus time because they had a penalty of 50 seconds on the drafting time for being late.
Oh wow, we can actually do. I didn't even realize we could put those penalties in. Okay, so fair enough. They're gonna have to think on their feet a little bit faster, but they come up with the fast bans. In fact, both teams have been banning pretty quickly. Lycan being banned. In fact, these three series of bans, the Naga, the Darkseer, and the Lycan, I've seen so many teams ban those exact three heroes in their opening three bans. And AL, we just came out of AL's matches, both games in a row. They banned those three heroes. My team's really scared of those three heroes, but EHOME have been fast on their feet here. They've banned both the Leshrac, the Rubik, as well as the Nature's Prophet. They've got rid of some of the pushes, and I've got to say Rubik, I would have to say, is my favourite support at the moment currently in this metagame.
Yeah, not even only a support, I love to see him playing aggressively as well. And I mean, if you look at the stats from Dota Academy from yesterday, Rubik was the most successful heroes, and I in both matches just now he was banned out, right?
Oh yeah, definitely. He's been getting taken out left, right, and center. And yesterday, if you watched, I think it was G playing the Rubik. He was playing actually a fairly semi-farm Rubik. He was playing so aggressive. It was fantastic.
You were in the same match where you saw at some point Rubik was chasing down the anti-mage. He had stolen the blink, and it was blinks all over the place. That was amazing to watch. That is, amazing plays.
Absolutely fantastic. Apparently, according to Naoya, I sound like a pixie. I'm not 8 years old. I'm in fact 22. I just have a very girly voice, apparently. Not that it's a bad thing. But Brewmaster and the Lone Druid being picked up by TongFu, this has not surprised me at all. These are two heroes that TongFu really favours. And they're actually extremely popular, particularly in the Asian scene. Especially Lone Druid. TongFu, they get their farm happening on how will farm that Lone Druid like an absolute madman. And he will come out with those 40-minute, 15-minute radiances and will completely drill EHOME if they do not turn on the pressure. And the Brewmaster is an interesting thing. When he first came out, Puppy was quoted as saying he is the most OP hero short of Lycan. But now a lot of teams, they don't bother banning him. It's like, yeah, let it through, let it go. And this was actually during the Gigabyte Dota Masters, we saw TongFu. This was back when they first debuted. This is why people thought TongFu were a really bad team, because they opened up with a Lycan and Brewmaster match and then lost to a wildcard open qualifier team ICE. From, I believe they were a Malaysian team. They had both Lycan and the Brewmaster, and they got pub stomped. It was that bad. But as it is, a lot of teams like now, yeah, let the Brewmaster through. Sure, he's a good hero. Definitely not a bad hero. He's just not the insta-ban material. And I'm not sure if it's so much that teams have adapted to him. It's just that the hero pool has really grown. And we've got heroes, must-ban heroes, like Naga Siren in there. And, of course, Darkseer has just gone up and up and up in terms of threat level in the eyes of teams, I believe.
Yeah, though he has been making it through the draft a couple of times the last few days. And by the way, TongFu, these first two heroes that they picked up, they're exact same heroes that we just saw picked up by EG in the previous match. And I'm hoping for TongFu that they can make better work of that than EG did, because they weren't able to get that farm up on the Lone Druid because the pressure from the opponents was too big. Though EHOME, they have got Chen to lay down some pressure, but Morphling is not going to do that all that much until minute 20 or something like that. And Invoker, more like someone that is a counter pressure, so he's not going to do something by himself, he's just going to make sure that nobody pushes in on them. Not the pressure that you want to have when you're versus a Brewmaster and a Lone Druid. You want to have some pressure to apply on them so that they can't farm. You need to slow down their farm, because they will farm regardless, it's just a matter of slowing them down.
I think it depends to how aggressive the Morphling play, whether or not EHOME decide to go, alright, let's just farm this Morphling for a late game carry. And sometimes we'll see what the Chinese teams do. They'll go, you know what, we don't even want the Ethereal Blade, we're just going to go for a fast Manta style of BKB and then just go right-click fight stuff. Whereas we've been seeing, like, we saw AL, they went for the whole fast Ethereal Blade and just went for the shotgun Morphling. It's actually a build that came out of the Southeast Asian scene. Of course, Orange Esports, Mushi is the best known player for that, really the star player for his Morphling and his shotgun build. That was his build, the Mushi Morphling, to go for the fast Ethereal Blade and then just drill people. Although it has sort of evolved, a lot of teams now will go for the Ethereal Blade burst rather than the old build, which was get a Lincoln Sphere first, which again, I think the Chinese players were the guys who decided, you know what, this is inefficient. Let's just get a bottle, use that for health and burst health and mana regen, and then just basically go for either our combat items. And now you'll see a lot more of the aggressive teams go, well, let's just get the shotgun first. Let's just be hyper aggressive and just drill people with it and insta-give people. But ban Sheever, we do have Tidehunter and the Tinker getting knocked off here.
Yeah, no team fight for EHOME. If they wanted to pick up the Tidehunter, of course, with a Chen you can try to push and then go for a team fight or force out a team fight. But quite surprising that they actually banned that one out. I mean, if we look at EHOME, for Morphling they need a support alongside with that. So I'm actually expecting for EHOME to go for a support in a solo lane, and Tidehunter, we have seen him in a solo lane, but I wasn't expecting EHOME to go for that. But maybe it's a setup for TongFu wanting to pick up something like a a Broodmother or something like that. I mean, we've seen Lone Druid being solo lane, but also able to solo lane in the mid lane with Brewmaster on the side lane, and then still Broodmother would be able to have a solo lane for herself. But yeah, Broodmother got banned out, so I guess the EHOME smelled something like that, so no Broodmother. Yep.
Well, both teams at the moment are quite flexible. I don't mind EHOME banning out the Broodmother. It makes perfect sense, just because at the moment they don't have a lot of AoE to deal with it. Broodmother is one of those heroes you really want to put either a strong lane against her, a good strong aggressive support against her with babysitting carry, or you want just a really good AoE controller, something like Sand-King. Sand-King is pretty much the bane of Broodmother, and at the moment I've actually seen some sideline invokers actually get thrown up against a Broodmother accidentally and gone, holy crap, I cannot do a thing about this, especially if they were planning to go for the Exort. Because often the sideline invokers will try and do Exort builds because they want to be able just to farm their sideline and support ganks around the map with the Sunstrikes without actually having to leave their lane, so they're always maximizing their farm. But if they end up getting thrown against a Broodmother, it really throws a wrench in their plans, because suddenly they have to deal with this massive spammy wave of creep that otherwise, well, they don't have the AoE to clear out, and they'll have to deviate into getting a few levels, like actually leveling up Deafening Blast and Meteor and making sure they can blast through those spiderling waves. But the final ban for TongFu, they are getting rid of the Beastmaster. I don't mind that at all, just because he is such a good lockdown hero, and they go for the Bounty Hunter. I find this really, a lot of teams have actually been really favouring this, but Sheever, I get the feeling that this is going to be their suicide solo hero, just because he can just survive in that lane, just get the levels that he wants to, just get the small items that he needs to, and then just run around maximising the farm of Morphling, and even just like Invoker, just amplifying the gold that this team is gaining off those ganks. You just snowball Morphling out of control so fast at an insane rate, and this is really going to help them get ahead of that Lone Druid, make sure they stay ahead of that Lone Druid, if they can just apply a lot of pressure to the lanes and make sure just getting those ganks off and make TongFu play very defensive, because they're busy worrying about getting ganked every 30 seconds or so. They're not going to be able to get that farm that they want. And like we saw last match against EG and AL, if the Lone Druid doesn't get that farm happening and he's still gunning for that Radiance, he falls behind and becomes so useless.
Oh, we're gonna see a Chaos Knight picked up by TongFu soon. And a safe pick, they go for the support first, knowing that EHOME wouldn't pick up the Chaos Knight anyway. And I say Chaos Knight, I mean, it's a bit, maybe a bit preemptively, but I do think Lina Chaos Knight, pretty solid lane. And otherwise, other combinations with Lina are not really, very common, to be fair.
Basically, Lina with anybody with a stun and a couple of nukes is really good, but yeah, you're right, Chaos Knight and Lina has been a combo that's been getting used quite frequently, just because the Reality Rift draws him into range. One of the most annoying things is actually getting to position for the Light Strike Array, but Lina, as long as she's got a good setup for her Light Strike Array, she has so much firepower. Like going back into Dota, one of the most common pub lanes, is Lina plus a Sand King or a Sven. Just two good, like a power stun to set up, and then Lina just blows them away. In this case, she's more of a support. She'll get used more as a support hero, but just the nukes that she brings, all she wants early game is levels. As long as she has a setup to get her stuns and her nukes off, she is very, very powerful. Lich. Now that is an interesting pick, Sheever. I think this is like the first time I've seen Lich this entire international series.
He has been picked up once before, at least from the games that I was covering. Lich with a Morphling combination, just denying farm, Morphling Lich mid lane, just able to keep the lane constantly on the court of Morphling so that he was getting free farm and his opponent was not getting anything. And I wonder which hero they're going to try to deny farm. If it's going to be the Chaos Knight, if they're going to go for dual lane versus dual lane in mid, if it's indeed going to be a Chaos Knight. In which case, I do think it's going to be quite risky. If Lich gets caught out of position, he will die so fast, because there's a lot of burst damage coming out from TongFu, if it's indeed going to be a Chaos Knight. I'm kind of assuming it is. They're taking their time, though, for it. Well, they can. It's the last 8 seconds of their bonus time. And it's going to be a Templar Assassin. Wow. Not something I was expecting.
Boy, this... Agreed, definitely not something I was expecting, but one of my favorite heroes indeed. And to be honest, this is an okay... Like, this is definitely, like, what TongFu open with the Brewmaster, the Venomancer, and Lone Druid. It's really, really flexible, because Brewmaster gets thrown into all sorts of lane. Lone Druid again. We've even seen AL. I know I bang on about AL, but I am actually streaming on the Absolute Legends stream at the same time, so obviously I'm a little bit biased. Yeah. But we saw AL just running suicide solo Lone Druids with Shaitan. It did definitely cripple them in some games where Lone Druid got completely shut down, but it is possible to do. It is very possible to do, but I'm quite happy to see Moo playing the Templar Assassin, because Linnea is one of my favorite heroes. She is so much fun to play. But I'm just wondering whether... I think we'll probably see the solo... I think we're more than likely to see the solo Templar Assassin, just because she really needs those levels. With those 3 primary skills plus her ultimate, she is so level hungry. I don't honestly think that they can afford to run a dual mid in this case.
No, well, they might. But otherwise... oh, wow. That's a nice skin on the Morphling. I just clicked him. I don't think I've seen it in action just yet. Sorry. Distracted. I think, like... If Morphling and Lich is going to be in the middle lane, you don't want to have your Templar Assassin there. I mean, he will get levels, and it's important to get levels up on your Morphling, but he will still get denied a lot of farm, so the extra levels are not going to go that fast. And yeah, Templar Assassin may be better off at the safe lane top, perhaps, with just putting something like a Druid. Bottom. Oh, seriously?
They're doing a level 1 Roshan. They have smoked up. They're going for level 1 Roshan. Oh, okay, this is what they're going for. She has actually opened up with Mel, and this is why they've done it. Because of negative armor, this is one of the most effective ways to cut through an early Roshan attempt. It's negative armor. In fact, I've even seen a level 1 Roshan attempt with a Shadow Fiend, just with Presence of the Dark Lord, because it allows them. The negative armor is just all they need. And this is why you often see Lycans, if they're going for fast Roshan, to open up with a Medallion of Courage.
And EHOME
this is actually quite crazy.
EHOME are...
I mean, this is it. Like, you would not expect this. This is not a general level 1 Roshan, and this looks like it's fairly... The only thing that's kind of weird about this lineup is the Linnea. She's not that common since the bugs for her Blink Dagger was fixed.
Yeah,
holy crap!
Yeah, this is a pretty good lineup, and there, indeed, QQQ, he doesn't know what had just happened. Now, the sentry board, this might be going towards to be the first blood. There is still the sentry board up. Is there going to be another slow? No, it's going to be sent home. Holy Persuasion. It's on cooldown now for the Chen, though. We'll have to wait a while before it can go into the jungle. Counter ward there. No first blood just yet, but yeah, Roshan already down. Level advantage, gold advantage. TongFu going into this match very strong.
Oh yeah, I think this is going to be crippling for EHOME, basically. And in fact, they're actually running Lich in a dual lane with the Invoker. But basically, EHOME need to make sure they do not make any mistakes. And if TongFu give them any room, they must capitalize this point, because basically they're starting at, they're all level 1 and they're all versus level 2 heroes. This really, really hurts, especially when you've got high damage potential heroes like Lena, who is currently invisible. Morphling is about to get hammered. If they can land this, oh, actually, I don't know what Kabo was doing there. Kabo's like, Tao, let me just get punched in the face. I enjoy getting hit.
Let me just walk into tower range to let myself get spotted there. Maybe it was intentional so that Lamb would be more careful, but if it was, that would be a weird play.
Well, no, because they don't have a setup stun. As soon as she tries to open up with a stun, Lamb is just going to go, you know what, waveform, I'm gone. So I don't know really what she was trying to achieve there. So it looks like Mu is going to get very, very aggressive. I like the fact, I actually know he's not pulling. I thought he was pulling for a second. I thought we were missing some creep. No, they are there, never mind. At the moment, though, the fact that they've opened up, this is really, really going to help Lena. Just because she's now such a dangerous... She's level 3 against level 1 heroes in this off lane here. This is a very dangerous situation. A level 2 Venomancer as well. They can come out and go for this gank, although a decent pull there for EHOME is going to try and help deny a bit of experience, pull the wave back to the tower, and it's also going to cover their backside, making sure they've got vision into this jungle, so it's not going to allow Kabu and Sansheng there to get in behind them.
Yeah, in the meantime, we see bottom lane, both of these having a bit of a tough time. Evoke being on 5 for 4 with Cupid Cat being on, or at least I think it's Cupid Cat, I guess, on 3 for 1. They're not getting that much last hits on this bottom lane, quite surprisingly. And they're playing it so safe. I mean, Bounty Hunter is just going to be for the levels. You know he should be extra careful, especially now that Evoke has that level advantage. But from the looks of it, actually, it's only one level away. It's still, they're both level 3 right now.
Oh, well, that's it. That's because Awoke is missing a lot of experience. See here, he's got a double wave of creep that he hasn't actually managed to kill. So as soon as he gets through this, he is going to get a lot of experience. Goes for the Thunderclap here. It looks like Celine, goodness' cat. I'm just going to call him Celine. Celine is in a bit of trouble here, getting hammered there by that Thunderclap. And this is not going to be a very fun lane, just because he can't really harass 1v1. Because Awoke, he has actually got the shield as well, but also the fact that he's leveling Drunken Brawler at the moment, which is going to cut down a fair amount. See, there's the miss. Goes for the hit. Manages to dodge it. But also, just the nuke that he has here, the Thunderclap is incredibly frustrating. It does a lot of damage. The slow is also pretty crippling, so he can't afford to get too aggressive here. And also, Bounty Hunter is, in a 1v1 situation, he is going for the Janata. This is fairly common, but Awoke is just going to spam that Thunderclap. And I think we may even see another early bottle on the Brewmaster here, in fact. There's a possible gank here, though. There are some creep getting brought out there as Chen is moving in. QQQ is moving into position to try and cause some trouble. And Awoke is actually fairly low on health at the moment. He has picked up early boots, which will allow him to outpace these heroes.
Yeah, and one thing to note here, even though we might see a first blood here, Awoke, is there going to be in the net? Yeah, there it is. This might be a first blood. Is it going to be Cupid Cat that gets it? Just 2 more hits needed? Nope, not going to get it. Too fast. Too tanky, right?
Yeah, I doubt they could get him. He's too tanky. He's got the Drunken Brawler. He's got a shield. He's got boots. It'd be very doubtful to manage to get that kill, especially if Bounty Hunter did have a couple of levels in Shuriken, definitely possible, but he hasn't actually put it into that, which is, it's normal for what he's doing. He's just going for harass with the Janata, and he just wants to be able to use the extra damage. He wants to be able to spam the extra damage there from the Windwalk as well, but he is going to be popping out a few levels. This is pretty normal to end up at level 6, to end up with 2 in Shuriken, 2 in Janata, and then 1 in Track. And of course 1 in Windwalk. That is pretty normal, although it looks like Lena may be looking for a kill in mid. The 4-minute rune, did she manage to find that? Somebody's picked it. Oh, it's just a haste. She's sitting on top of it, blending into it. She's red, of course.
She's gonna give it to Mu. And one thing to note, I mean, they harassed and woke out of the lane. That actually gave Bounty Hunter the chance to pick up some of the last hits again that he was behind, because Awoke had to walk all the way back and then stand there for a very long time, because he has quite a lot of HP for his levels, just stand there regenning up, and then he TP'd back, but still a lot of time lost for him on that lane. For sure.
Okay. Indeed, as it looks like Alanea, it looks like she has managed to finish up her phase, but she is hitting really hard at the moment, doing a pretty stock. She's actually not doing a Meld build. This is interesting. She has actually gone... Actually, sorry, she's doing a Refractal. That is actually pretty stock. And we see here the damage that Lan is taking, though. She is charging in there, going to cause a ton of damage. They land the Light Strike away. Lan trying to heal up, but the Meld, combined with the Refract damage, is far too powerful, and this is how good Lanea is against this burst damage. I really like this Lanea pick against the Morphling, actually, because she is really resilient to any kind of shotgun build that he tries to go for. Burst damage is so useless against it, just because she can go, you know what, I don't care, I've got Refract up, all of your damage is going to bounce off me, and they kind of lack the ability, all of their heroes, even the Bounty Hunter, they combine all of the damage into a few big hits, Lich into his bounces, and it looks like Invoker also going for the Quace Wex build. All of his hits, they go into a big EMP, a big tornado, so Lanea can stop a lot of damage. The only thing that's really going to frustrate her this match, Sheever, I think, think is the fact that EMP is going to drill through her mana pool.
Yeah.
It's going to pretty much empty that if she gets hit by an EMP. But otherwise, she doesn't have anything annoying like a Darkseer or even the Venomancer, the kind of things that can just tick through a refraction so quickly and just basically make her very, very squishy.
Yeah, and if she's getting too big, then maybe even it's going to be EHOME that's going to try to build a Radiance on someone, because that's basically the only thing that you can build to really counter that refraction, and it is such a huge spell. I mean, it is just so big to deal with if she gets big enough, and right now she got the first kill, she got the first blood, she's level 7, she is ready to gank, she's ready to kill some heroes, and she's still up now. Haste Rune was used already, but she's definitely looking solid. In the meantime, on the top lane, Gale hits on the Invoker, in a lot of trouble, goes invisible though, should be staying alive for now. With,
Thankfully, the Coast Walk managing to save Lich as well there. He managed to get pretty much all the heroes plus the bear and prevented them from chasing their Lich, because I have no doubt that they would have dived in there. Basically, just traded hits on the tower, just cycled hits between the tower, and then just made sure they get the kill. Oh yeah, wow, they're actually running on Templar Assassin. She does have Refraction up. In fact, she's got the Aegis still. She doesn't really care at all. In fact, she may even try and bait to trade for a kill here. They do have about 3 and a bit minutes left on that Aegis, so she's not worried at all. In fact, she's just like, kill me, I don't care, I'll come back with full mana.
Yeah, with
so it'll be just fine if they trade, but at the moment, the first blood there!
No, the first blood was just in the middle lane. What? It was Lanaya
oh, wait,
that
I'm
picked
retarded,
up the
never
Morphling.
mind.
Don't worry. But,
what am I saying? Sorry, second kill. What did I say? Yeah, the Brewmaster getting the kill. I completely forgot about Lanaya diving there in the first lane, so I've gone full retard again already. I see a Dusk get picked up though. Brewmaster decided, you know what, I'm going to pick up a Dusk, going to help deal with this bounty hunter. But he did get the kill though. I just managed to jump into the end of that. He just unfortunately dived a little bit too far there.
Yeah, I saw the start. I thought he would be fine. And Aegis just got popped in the middle lane on Mu. So he doesn't.
As up in the top lane, unfortunately, Invoker getting jumped there, 3v1 because pretty much Lich just said, actually, I'm going to back out here. There is a counter ward down here. If Bounty Hunter moves in, he is in a bit of danger. He does need to be careful here. I don't think he probably doesn't have a clue that there is a counter ward down at the moment, so he just needs to be quite careful. He has revealed himself though. He popped the Windwalk again within vision, and it would have just popped up for a second there on that map, but there is a gank coming from behind. It is Lanaya. They put the slow down on King J. King J, there's no way he's surviving. It's a physical damage from Mu is just going to be way too much for him to deal with. The burst damage from Lanaya is pretty crazy. Up until about the 30-minute mark, she can just hammer through these heroes and just decimate their health pools. At the moment, though, we should probably keep an eye on the farm. The fact that Mu is struggling here a bit, he's getting outfarmed quite. I like the fact that Pop Smoke here. This smoke is not going to be disrupted by the This smoke is not going to be disrupted by the Pandaren Brewmaster. And the fact that he doesn't even know necessarily that they're chasing him. There we go. They're going to jump on top of him. The Cold Snap plus a Wave Bomb enough to nuke him down. Because, of course, the Brewmaster's split Spirit Forms, Primal Split doesn't actually count as hero units, so they can't actually dispel the Smoke of Deceit there. So it's nice to use. See the smoke defensively or defensively like that.
And at the same time, it was Bounty Hunter that actually dropped on the top lane, giving the opportunity for TongFu to push down a tier 1 tower on the top lane as well. So that's the first tier 1 tower going down, and it looks like they're not done yet. They want to continue pressuring this lane. They've got Venomancer Wards, they've got a Bear, they've got a Master of the Bear, and they've got someone to tank up the tower if it gets too much for the Bear itself. I mean, Mu can just tank up the tower pretty safe with that refraction maxed out. And there's not much that EHOME
I like the
can do
fact that
against this.
I think they did the right thing. What they did basically was go, okay, well, you're going to be taking those towers. Let's just counter-push another lane, because it's the best opportunity. Like you said, they don't really want to engage. They're not really going to be able to win these fights. So they just go, you know what, counter-push, best option available. Let's make sure we just try and get some of our own gold. And this trap there, I like this trap, because I know when I play in the pubs and I see Lanayas, a lot of them will not do this, where as they move into push, they throw down a trap behind them, just in case they get chased back, or they need to use it defensively. It's there available, and it really can turn so many fights around. The slow from Psionic traps are absolutely crippling. Definitely. And it looks like TongFu at the moment, they're going to press in on the mid lane. EHOME making that illusion though, going to try and chase Mu off. I think he's going to keep it with him for the DPS. It's not like the last match we were casting where they had, of course, AL had their Morphling, and he had to use the illusions as nothing more than an escape mechanism, because otherwise Enchantress goes, you know what, the illusion you had, I'm just going to take it. It's mine now. You can't have that. This is why we can't have nice things. More tracks being spammed on Lanaya, but this isn't really going to bother it, because generally speaking, they don't tend to use Meld as a defensive tool. It's a very, very aggressive tool. It's pretty much you only use it defensively at a last-ditch attempt to escape, and in this case, it's not. The only thing that's really annoying her about the track is it's making it hard for her to sneak up on anybody and gank them. She does have a Blink Dagger, though. Did we announce this? I don't think we announced the Blink Dagger.
It is, just now, though. This is would be the first encounter. If they force this issue, there would be the first encounter with the Blink Dagger there. And she has a double damage rune just picked up in her bottle as well. And they're just continuing the pressure, not giving Morphling any time to farm. And he's actually staying in the middle lane, which is quite surprising. Normally you'd see Morphling, when it gets too hot under his feet, he'll move towards a different lane to get his farm up there. But he's just sticking around.
I think he's staying in the mid lane because the top lane he can't do it. Like, he's got no tower there anymore, so it's not a very safe lane. The bottom lane is being pushed out. Has already been pushed out. They've taken that tower there, so that's pushing up quite a bit. To be dead honest, I feel that mid lane for him is the safest. Plus, he has waveform, so if he gets in a lot of trouble, he just needs to waveform up to the high ground near the Ancients behind him. So he's got a fairly good opportunity to escape. Or if he's pushing to the enemy side of the river, all he has to do is waveform up a cliff, and it's got a pretty good escape mech there. So he's going to be hard to run down, but they are going to try and knock out Hao here. Hao, though, on the run, although it looks like Morphling is going to try and chase him. Waveform sport, they do have the track on him. Can they get that bonus gold? Shuriken as well. Hao may fall. No, not quite. He barely escaped. 16 health. Oh no, and Celine, Bounty Hunter, is about to die if they can get one hit off. Unfortunately, one level of Sonic Blade, Side Blades means that he gets the kill there. It's also the Brewmaster moves in with a 5-hander to burn him down anyway. In fact, they're trying to chop through. They think somebody's hiding in there, but there's nobody in there, in those trees. But my God, Hao, so lucky.
Morphling reformed into the trees and was able to TP out and could not do anything to help the Bounty Hunter survive. And I'm quite surprised as Invoker. He's staying very safe on his lane for a long time and not able to contribute all that much. I mean, he's been in the one kill that has been done so far on the Brewmaster, but he's otherwise he's been playing it very safe. Of course, that's what EHOME can do. They think like, okay, you know what, we have the Morphling, we got the late game, you can do all you want. We just gotta make sure that we don't die as much, even though so far, of course, it's not working out all that much. But he's playing it very safe. I mean, no team fights being forced here, even though they know that Awoke doesn't have his ultimate at the moment.
Yeah, he has to play pretty safe because obviously he can't really do much around the map. Although here comes a Chain Frost, it's in a good position, going to hit Leonard though. They managed to juke it away there, and unfortunately they do lose the Brewmaster. However, EHOME are only going to get one hero here. Sanshing does manage to back up the Sonic traps. He's going to hold them off. But yeah, Invoker, because he's gone for the Quas Wex build, he can't really influence a lot of fights around the map. And the thing is, as a low-level Invoker, he can't really roam and do a whole lot. With the low-level Invokes, he can't do much anyway, so he just needs to focus on getting his levels. And with a dual lane, it does slow down his level gain just a bit. And the other thing is, I'm honestly not sure. The side lane Invoker are almost exclusively, I've seen them, have been almost exclusive. They go for the Exort build, so having... I'm not sure if he honestly wanted to start with Quas Wex, but then decided, you know what, we have so little teamfight presence that we may actually need this if TongFu start getting really aggressive, especially since they went off to that flying start with that level 1 Roshan attempt.
Yeah, that could be the case. Oh, sorry?
I'm just looking at the farming at the moment. I've got to say, Lanham is actually just struggling a little bit. 61 and 3, it's all right, but it's definitely not gold standard. And 73 and 13, Linnea is doing extremely well. I'm just looking, she's at 2-0 and 2, so she's actually been doing pretty good on the ganking front as well, as she's just decided to drop into the jungle and do a bit of farming there. But she has got a regen ring, going to pop that and now head out and cause some more pressure. I really like these traps here that she's leaving on the high ground. It's basically so she can double trap someone. She can hit them and then hit them again with a trap that she just spawns. And there we go. She's just going to die for it though, although Morphling does have waveform up, so I don't think they can catch him. They don't have any good power stuns on their team at the moment.
Yeah, he also
so it's going to be very, very hard to pin down Morphling.
Especially with the replicate as well. I mean, they don't really have a lot of solid stun. They've got, of course, the Brewmaster ultimate that has a stun, and the Lina that can land a stun if she's lucky. But other than that, you have to get lucky with an entangle. You can't really call that a stun either, because you can just still replicate and reform away. So not a lot of stuff that can catch Morphling or stop him from morphing into strength. So it's gonna be hard to take him down unless Templar Assassin gets so big that the burst damage is just too much to deal with. In which case you're kind of forcing Morphling to walk around with more strength than he would want. He'll get his farm at some point anyway though, but it's gonna be hard for them to take down Lan, for sure.
I like what TongFu are doing at the moment. They're doing a lot of pushing and basically just putting the pressure on and making it hard for Morphling to farm. So they're not too worried about him getting a little bit too fat, because he's just not farming. He's not getting an insane free farm. Like we've seen burning Morphlings just get so free farmed it's not funny. So in this case, it's okay. He's getting a bit of farm, but he's not completely out of control. And he may... I'm not sure what he's going to build into just yet. He has picked up Treads, a Ring of Aquila. He might actually just be going for the shotgun build. In fact, the early Ring of Aquila, Treads, he may actually just be doing a shotgun build there. But they are going to head top. But at the moment, TongFu have done a fair amount of pushing. They've taken down 3 towers. There has only been one in response from EHOME. It was the first tier bottom tower. And in fact, Lanham just going to charge through this wave up the top, going to just push it back. And at the moment, how he's tracked up, so I don't think he wants to stand around here for too long. He knows that as people come to the top lane, so I think he's done the right thing. He's backing off, going to somewhere a little bit more safe when he knows there's 3 heroes in the top lane. He knows he's tracked. However, it is the 15-minute mark, into almost 16 minutes, and it looks like TongFu are going for another Roshan attempt. And to be dead honest, they can afford to do it. There's not much that not much that EHOME can do to contest this.
Nothing at all. I mean, they don't have the team fight if the Brewmaster ultimate is up there. It's just too much burst damage coming out from TongFu. All that EHOME can do is play it safe, take advantage from the distraction that Roshan was, and yeah, Invoker is going to be able to TP out of there. And with that Roshan going down, I mean, they traded it for tier 1 tower. EHOME was able to secure that one, and that's the thing that EHOME needs to do. Make sure that they take advantage of the lanes that are being left alone by TongFu, otherwise they're not going to be able to get anything. And here comes the TP in from Lanaya, and everybody, it will probably be backing off again, because they know they can't take this, even though they're outnumbering her quite heavily right now.
Had that slow hit King J, although they get the net down on Lanaya. Lanaya dies almost instantly to that pure damage nuke there. Unfortunately, she lost her refractions, just a little bit of damage down there, and they are actually all going to TP out. Had that slow hit the Lich, I think Lanaya would have jumped, but we should also mention that Woke does have a blink dagger now. He realizes he can't stop that TP and just decides just to slap him a bit. However, they do take... Oh, that's an illusion there that they killed. Wasn't anything of any value. It looks like X, at the moment, going to be pushed back, although Kabu is coming, has got invisibility rune. They get the slowdown, although X can just hit his invis. I don't think they've got any. They do have dust. Lena has counter wards and a dust. Here it comes, Lanaya. Oh my god, Laguna Blade just tearing through that Invoker. Lands a light striker away as well, and Invoker's probably just like, oh, alright. So you're there, Lena. Fair enough, I'm dead. Not much you can do about that at all. Just got completely wrecked. And I love what TongFu are doing. They get a pick off, and now they're immediately going to push. They're going for the second tier tower here. And with Invoker down, this is going to be rough to defend. However, they have got a good Turtley Invoker, and because he does have that, he's got that EMP, he's got that Tornado, and those are 2 of the best turtle spells in the game, to be dead honest. They've got such a huge AoE. If you land them and you hit the EMP, it becomes very difficult to push against unless you have multiple Arcane Boots ready to go. And to basically refill that mana, because heroes like Venomancer, Sanshing's playing, and even the Brewmaster, they lose their mana. They lose 400 mana or so. Suddenly they're so ineffective in the fight. They really are hugely skill reliant in up to about the 35-minute or so.
Yeah, and one thing that I still wanted to point out, Chen has a Wildkin, and we were earlier talking that there wasn't really a lot of that EHOME can do to pop up the refraction from the Templar Assassin, but that Wildkin Tornado, when she got burst down next to the tier 2 tower so fast, that was because the Tornado made sure that the refraction went off just in seconds.
Yeah, not a bad idea at all. Of course, anything done in micro damage levels, although it looks like they might be coming to defend this mid tower. How actually getting tracked up, I don't think he's really too bothered by that. I like the fact that he's farming in bear mode. This is something I don't see often enough. The fact that he is farming in bear mode, because it makes him so tanky, so hard to get rid of. I hate it when I see lone druids. They sit around in range mode and they get picked off so quickly because he's so squishy. But like we saw him earlier, survivor gank on 16 health. This makes it really, really difficult for EHOME to get rid of him. Had he been sitting range, like if he was in range mode now with the track on him, basically Morphing could just pretty much just dive on him and kill him almost instantly. Chen though, still pushing this top tier tower, tier 2 tower, and they are going to drive him back, although Mood just dropping in there with a slow, and is just going to try and get rid of all Chen's creep because there are lots of lovely gold for him. Plus, it really annoys Chen because he's got to go and spend time refilling all of his creep and not pushing their top tower if they're not being a huge pest.
Yeah,
in fact, Chen going to save his creep with a net there.
On the bear, by the way. Spirit Bear got the Radiance, so we're going to see an increase on the gold and the Lone Druid very fast with that Radiance up there. And even though they were already present and pushing and just putting the pressure on there constantly, we'll see how joining that more often, and we'll see towers dropping more often with that as well. And it's going to be tier 3 towers, of course, that I'm talking about there.
I noticed one of your viewers, Philippakis, is asking, is Dara the only team that bans Morphling? No, EG, actually, last game they played versus AL, second match, they banned Morphling. It was one of their second or third bans. They banned him in the first phase, because like, they just like, AL, alright, you wrecked us with Morphling, you wrecked us with Storm Spirit, those heroes are gone. Templar Assassin, though, gets a Desolator. Okay, so wow, she's going for full-on damage. Often we see them go straight for a BKB just to help them out. Especially just so they can pop it first and then worry, not have to worry too much, get shut down by CC. But in this lineup, there's not a lot of stun. She doesn't have to worry about that, so she can just go for pure burst damage. And this really gives her a ton of damage. Negative armor that she's stacking with Melt, I think it's like negative 14. That is a ridiculous amount of damage amplification, and especially on a hero like even with actually Lich hasn't picked up any levels in Ice Armor yet. In fact, once he gets some levels in Ice Armor, that's really going to help cut down the damage that Linnea can dish out. But at the moment, she is so powerful. This is very, like a couple of hits and she can just wreck people.
Yeah,
doing over 200 damage.
On the top lane, they're looking for something. They're not gonna find anything anymore, though. We see QQQ just hiding in the jungle top of the map. I'm not sure what he's gonna be, why he's not TPing, but he's just standing there happily doing something. At least TongFu is not gonna be able to catch out someone, and they realize that, so they move back. They're really looking for a fight, though. A fight that they.
I should mention that also. I should mention that Morphling has actually, he's going for the Black King bar. He's grabbing that right now. He's picked up the recipe, just working on the Mithril Hammer at the moment. So he is going. This is a more of a Chinese thing to do. The fact that they just go, you know, we're not even interested in the Ethereal Blade that much. They just go straight for a right-click Morphling, pick up the BKBs, pick up the what is it? They go for the Manta Style, and then they often also go for a late Skadi sometimes as well. But they just go for that right-click damage. They're not really worried about the shotgun build, or they don't launch to play that aggressive. They just want to farm and farm and farm and farm. In this case, I honestly don't know if they're going to have that time, especially now with the Spirit Bear. Like you said, it was around about an 18-minute radius done. Slightly so for Hal, but you know what? He was put under a little bit of pressure at some point. But at the same time, it is going to give them a lot of room to start pressuring this town, and they have a pretty strong push.
Look at EHOME on the right side of the map. They're just standing there, hiding, and apparently not wanting to TP just yet, but they're just sitting there, having fun, or something.
They're TPing now. I think they were possibly, they're suspecting that they're about to get ganked, and Spidey senses tingling. They were able to get away just in time, and yeah, I don't think they could have won that fight either. They would have got absolutely wrecked.
And we have a gem of
this is really good. This is really good from TongFu. The fact that they are inhabiting, when you see a team inhabiting the enemy jungle, it's a pretty good sign that they are dominating just because they have so much map control. And Chen, now he can't use this jungle, can't get near this creep, and they are actually going to use a primal split, but look at this, defensive smoke, and now he can't do a thing about it. Oh, Brewmaster, this is unfortunate. Chen to come in though, going to try and save the Bounty Hunter. Great save by Chen, Hand of God as well, and Bounty Hunter saved. QQQ, big plays indeed.
That was so much burst damage, Laguna Blade and everything. Stick charge is probably full. He had probably a full stick charge. That has to be it, because he just got back to full HP so fast, almost full HP, and was able to be back home in time. Good play indeed.
Fortunate, it was only a level 1 Laguna Blade. That was the fortunate thing. It's after resistance. It's only a bit over 350 damage if memory serves me correctly. So he was fortunate in that case, but at the same time, yeah, it was a lot of heal. It was stick charges plus a Hand of God was needed to keep him alive, and then of course the timely save from Chen teleporting him back to base. Up in the top lane, though, Morphling just trying to use his ability to farm deep into enemy territory with replication up. He will just morph away in a second, though. He gets hit by the roots, and no, he's actually just going to waveform, and he's going to TP. He's not going to bother replicating. Decides he wants to keep his illusion, which I actually have no idea where it is. He finishes up his Black King bar, though. This will definitely help out of these fights. Looks like they're going to try and run down Chen. Chen so low on health. I think the only thing kept alive there would have been the track there from Bounty Hunter, giving him that speed. Now here comes an EMP. Will it hit Linnea? No, it hits Woke though, loses all of his mana. This is frustrating. The burst damage along with the cold snap, the shuriken in there as well. A lot of damage now being blocked by the refraction. Moo going to try and fight here. Can he get away? No, he can't. Lockdown, and there's no invis to save him because, of course, Track is making him quite visible indeed. And it looks like EHOME finally fighting back and getting a good fight under their belt.
That is such a massive fight for EHOME. 3 for 0, and with Morphling also able to pick up a double kill, so having that goal secured for him very important, and really a kind of a turnaround, I feel like. And what most important here is that experience that it gives. Look at the experience graph, just dropping back towards the 0, well, not to the 0, but 2,500 in favor still of TongFu, but not as much as it was before. Massive fight for EHOME. And that's, he didn't even use his BKB. Morphling just had it complete, but he didn't even need to use it.
Yeah, well, the longer he can hold on that BKB, definitely the better, because of course you want those big 10-second charges at the most crucial fights. But it looks like Sancheng is just going to be farming away, just using the Ancients. This is probably one of the best things about the Plague War builds. In fact, you can just duck away into the jungle or over the Ancients and just start using them to catch up on your farm. I'm just looking at the GPM chart at the moment. It looks like there's a 7.5k advantage, though, to to TongFu. This is really EHOME. Unfortunately, they had a really good start in the Asian scene, Sheever, but really, they've sort of dropped down in the rankings for the Chinese teams. Have become a lot less of a powerhouse. Initially, they opened up as being the most feared Chinese teams, but teams like TongFu, I don't know if you've watched much TongFu, but they are probably one of the best Chinese teams, in my opinion, at the moment.
I got a pennant for TongFu, and I just realized that I'm not going to get items anymore because I'm not casting Viadora defeat. That's a shame. But
I was getting items anyway.
That is true. I have not gotten a single item, but you know, it's the thought that counts. So, but yeah,
No,
they are very strong, and I do think they're still very strong. But that Morphling is just time ticking away, and the longer it takes, that Morphling is gonna get bigger. And of course, it's a Lanaya there, and a Lone Druid there, and the Brewmaster. So 3 heroes that are pretty good carries / semi carries. But is Morphling / Bounty Hunter gonna be able to out carry them? I think later game it might, especially with all those BKBs up. The teamfight from TongFu is not gonna mean as much, and if they can shut down that Templar Assassin, as they have been just now, I mean, the times that Templar Assassin died, that one time, she died very fast. Just within the moment of seconds.
I totally agree.
So if they're gonna get the BKB,
I totally agree with you.
Yeah, dangerous.
I definitely agree, Chief. But basically, the late game, Templar Assassin not really a hard carry per se. Same with the Lone Druid. Although that said, we watch the AL, like, as long as they, oh wow, there comes the Chain Frost, so going to absolutely shred them, although the BKBs from Morphling preventing him from taking any damage at the moment. The tracks are down there on Shanxing, Chen getting hurled up in the air by the Brewmaster, and it looks like the only person who's died so far is Lich. I thought EHOME had a huge fight of elves with them, and now the counter-attack here from TongFu. Can it lock down some heroes? Kabu, though, very low. Chen is going to die. The gem has been dropped there. It's on the ground. Can they pick it up? Although it looks like LANM is now getting locked down. Sheever, how the hell did that happen? I thought EHOME had this in the bag with that Chain Frost.
They had a massive initiation, and it looked very good in Hand of God at the right time. It looked like TongFu were backing out, were trying to retreat, but then still not being able to do so. They just turned around, turn and burn, and they lost 4 heroes for just a Venom. No, Venomizer didn't die. Wait, what am I saying? There was no casualty on the side of TongFu. Not a single one.
No casualties. They lost a gem too. Like that's a really close fight. They lost the they didn't even manage to steal the Roshan, deny the Aegis or anything. They lost the Roshan, lost a gem, so they lost all semblance of map control, and they're going to lose all of their wards. And then they even, like as you said, they lost 4 heroes. That is crippling. Look at the gold swing now. It's just taking a huge dip once again. EHOME were making some ground suddenly, and it's back to square one for them.
Check out the
experience chart too.
Yeah.
Oh god, that's a turn and a half.
That is a turn off. I mean, EHOME were looking strong. I really thought that was the turning point for Morphling, but that encounter, mechanism from Venomancer also complete, helped out a lot so that TongFu could just stay there, and all of those heroes are just so tanky. But not even Lina or Venomancer are being killed off. I mean, Venomancer hasn't died a single time yet. He's been in 7 out of the 11 kills so far. He's been doing great, and it's only Lina that died once of the supports. You'd imagine that at least the supports were able to be picked off by EHOME, but no. Maybe prioritizing the wrong heroes or something. I'm honestly surprised. I think the Brewmaster, the fact that he is so tough in these early fights, he is only 25, 28 minutes in, so he's really, really tough. The fact that he essentially almost has 2 lives in a fight just because you've got to try and kill all the pandas and then try and kill him after. It looks like, though, they have got double gems. Yeah.
The Lone Druid has one of his own, and he's carrying that. He's also packing the cheese. Who is actually... Aegis is on the Templar Assassin. I noticed some people are calling me out saying, oh, you didn't call Lone Druid a hard carry. He's not really the problem is with Lone Druid in the late game is the fact that he's really reliant on his bear. And during the late game, against something like a Morphling, Morphling is a top tier hard carry. Lone Druid's bear becomes actually pretty easy to get rid of.
Yeah.
So it's just, against a Morphling is considered to be a much higher tier carry than he is. But in this case, the fact that they're pushing so much faster, their farm is good as well, this is going to cause some serious issues. But if they can turtle and hold on, Sheever, I think you're right, they will have a definite advantage. Although we saw the double basher bear from CLG completely disrupt a massively farmed Music and Morphling yesterday.
Yeah, and the point about this, if they're indeed gonna try to turtle, one of the anti-turtle heroes is the Lone Druid, because he can just send a bear up into the high ground, and if you don't want to put any of your heroes in danger, that bear will still be able to rip through the tier 3s. And there goes the first one going down, and it's just being set into the barracks. In the meantime, Panda Split is being used. It looks like EHOME wants to go in, but they don't really know how. They don't really have the chance to. There goes a Chain Frost. Awoke has to back off here. Goes down to the Morphling so to get that kill. Hand of God going through Laguna Blade, and that is the end of the Bounty Hunter as Wow, that's gonna be Moo dropping him, but he had the Aegis, so he will be back up in a second. Lan is gonna do what he can in the duration of his BKB. Will probably be backing off as soon as the BKB duration is ended. And so far, they got one kill. They got a kill on the Brewmaster, but the barracks still went down. They won the fight, maybe in theory, but they lost the battle. If you can call it that way. They're still dancing around like cat and mice, but TongFu got what they came for and backs out.
Yeah, they are just going to head off. All the mana they're getting drained. Sanction re-evaluating choices made. They dive back in for a second. They got hammered by that EMP. It looks like they might even get Carbo as well. Carbo likely to go down here. He will get taken out as well. And Lan M on the run now is morphing strength at a rapid rate. Has got waveform though. He's going to waveform forward and then... Oh no, Roots! What a troll!
How did he get that entangle? First hit entangle. He was so close to TPing away. But double kill for the Lone Druid now. How having a time of his life with that entangle? I mean, how lucky can you get?
And there we go. Yeah, definitely. He's probably laughing himself stupid. There's a gem getting dumped on the ground, and Lone Druid says, "What's better than one eye? I'm going to grab two." Why the hell not? He's got 2 eyes now.
It's because the first Venomancer died.
Sheever.
Venomancer had a gem, so it was how that picked that one up. And one thing, I mean, in theory, it was a 3-for-3 fight, like heroes dying. But Lina and Venomancer being 2 of the 3 for TongFu to die, 2 supports, while the 2 that stay alive on EHOME were the Chen and the Lich. So those 2 not dying versus the carries and the semi-carries dying on EHOME side. Not a good trade at all. And of course, it can't be considered a good trade at all because, of course, the barracks died, both of them. But not a good fight. Not a good choice to go back in there. That is basically it, because they had 1 kill and they lost the barracks, and then they went in and lost 2 heroes. Because, oh yeah, well, Bounty Hunter died earlier, of course, that's the one I'm counting still. He was the first one to die on the EHOME side. They're 1-for-1 then.
This build from... I actually haven't seen the heart build from a Templar Assassin build, although I like it. It makes a lot of sense in this case, because they don't have to... she's not worried about a huge amount of lockdown. At the moment, like, her biggest worry in the late game is actually just getting burst down, like just getting hammered by right clicks from morphing, and just having this pure amount of survivability that Heart of Trask is going to provide is actually really, really good. And the fact that Linnea is really good at disengaging from fights too, it just gives her a lot of opportunity to get out of a fight like an anti-mage and just heal up really quickly and just get straight back into it. Because even with a little bit of health, like we've seen, she is so hard to get rid of because of refraction.
Yeah, and it is the right choice. I mean, her Aegis got popped in that fight, and we saw her going down really fast. But that was all the burst damage that EHOME had, and she was back up again and was able to just continue on her way. But with that heart, that burst damage won't be killing her off this time. And it looks like TongFu is getting ready for another push down, this time in the middle lane. They're gonna have to deal with an Invoker. Turtle Hero on top, but yeah, they have got the Lone Druid, so countering that as well, even though Ice Wall gets put up. Jen has to already back off. That's Psyblaze doing damage there, I think. Deafening Blast.
That's one of my...
Who cares? Okay, sorry. Nobody cares about the Deafening Blast, they just continue going, killing the towers off.
Yeah, I'm just going to continue hammering stats. One of my viewers is asking, why did they pick Burst against Linnea? They didn't. It's the other way around. TongFu picked Linnea last against a Burst lineup. It was a really smart counter pick there, I have to agree. In the late game, she's so hard for them to get rid of. Here we go, the Tornado going through. There is no EMP to follow up, although here comes some Morphling. He's got the BKB up if he wants to fight. Doesn't even, that's a big whiff on that Poison Over. I don't think that hit anybody. Yeah, that did not hit absolutely anybody. The Brewmaster is standing in his minions. Chen is down. And Sheever, it looks like King J is going to try and save himself here with an Ether, with a Ghost Scepter. It's not going to work. And look at that lockdown on Lan. The BKB getting pinned down anyway.
I do like the Chain Frost, but it didn't really do anything anymore. We have Bounty Hunter on the way with 50 HP. He's going to be forced outside of his base. He actually has to flee outside of his base with Lan fighting to find his way through his base. He's morphing into strength, but it's going to be too much damage coming in. And there's the last hit. Double kill for the Templar Assassin. Buyback on the Invoker, but is he going to be able to do anything? Buyback on the Morphling as well. And it looks like TongFu is going to be backing out there, but... Wow, EHOME, are they going to make the same mistake just now, just by diving too deep, by going after them? They're in this, they want to go for this, they're going to get the Invoker kill, they're going to get a Bounty Hunter kill, or not, again, almost 50 HP, he is going to be backed out again. Morphling, if he dies again, he doesn't have a buyback this time, he can't morph, no, he is dead. Double kill again for the Templar Assassin, on the 2 heroes that just bought back. 2 heroes buying back, 2 heroes dying again, I think to the same hero as well, as we see Moo just using the cheese, able to stay alive. And there goes a Chen, and that is a GG call. So it will be TongFu that will take this second game. Is it the second game? No, it's the first game.
It's the first game. I'm pretty sure it's the first game.
It is the first game. Okay, first game for the group stage for the international too. The first game, you're right.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely fantastic. I love the draft. Such a great I feel it's just the Linnea pick. It's not that common since they fixed the bug, but it's just so good against the burst lineup. It really wrecked them. And Kabu landing these light strike aways so well, setting up these kills. But in the end, I also like the fact that during that fight, at some point they traded the cheese over to Templar Assassin and said, you know what, you're actually taking the brunt of the fight. You've got a heart, so you've got plenty of health to regenerate. Let's let you have the cheese. They moved it off the Lone Druid. But in the end, Sheever, I don't know, what do you, besides the draft, do you think there's anything that EHOME really messed up on there?
Besides the draft, I'm not sure. The Templars hasn't just worked out so great. I think maybe they should have switched lanes for the Morphling to move him somewhere where he could farm more because his farm is not that impressive. 36-minute game, and he's only got a BKB and a Yasha. And that's not something you want to see in a Morphling. You want to see a lot more. Morphling is one of those carries that can be a lot more aggressive early on than, for example, an Anti-Mage. That's why Morphling is being picked over an Anti-Mage a lot of the times. But in this case, it didn't work out. Morphling not able to get his farm, so not able to carry his team to victory. And TongFu just
not. And I know some people
able to do that.
I think.
Sorry.
Oh, it's fine. Go ahead. Go ahead.
No, that was it already. Just waiting for the throne to explode.
Oh, okay. I think one of my viewers, Immortals 4, is asking why I didn't invoke your EWEQ. I think he's staying away. I think he was staying away from the Exhort build just because he wanted the huge teamfight press, because he was worried about TongFu pressing in early, which they did. TongFu were forcing early teamfights, and the Invoker, I just think he decided he really needed the burst, he needed the teamfight presence of the Tornado and the EMP. It's also the fact that EMP is probably one of the better spells they could probably ask for against Linnea. It's the fact that she's really, really mana reliant in that early phase. But anyway, let's jump over into the next game, as it should be up pretty soon.
Yeah, I'm gonna have an outro again, so...
Okay.